What's going on? My name is Hydro, and I'm giving you a breakdown of all the tracks on my album, Gold Plated Quarters, just to give you a little insight of where it was and what it was and how it's going, blah, blah, blah. So, left off and did track number 4. So, track number 5 is called Your Lavender. It's actually based off of a video that kind of went viral of a guy that was on the corner chilling next to his car who got approached by a lady that didn't appreciate him. I don't know the backstory super big. I just know the aftermath, which was a video that made me laugh a lot. And he was basically telling her to move on, and she didn't want to move on. And then he did take it another step by really egging this lady on. But I always thought the commentary on that is hilarious, and I based the whole song around it. I really base it off of the idea of people that critique music, and I'm not immune to it either. Um, uh, there's a lot of different people, especially on like Twitter, who base their whole accounts around critiquing what artists do as far as music goes. And I'm not saying they're not qualified or I'm not qualified. It just sometimes it comes to a head where you're just like, all right, man, can you write a song? Not to say everybody that critiques something has to be able to do it, but I think there has to be some kind of like handicap or something applied to it because I personally, the way I critique songs, I do base it off of, hey, I've tried to write songs. It's not always easy. Even if it's your job, it's not always easy. Even though it's never been my job, but I know, like, coming up what it is that you think other people are going to vibe to is not always the easiest task. And it's just a song reminding people about that and kind of just being fun with the way the guy told her to move on. So that's what Your Lavender is based off of. And you'll hear it, uh, the some of the video on the song, a lot of the video on the song. I just wanted to let that run. Number 6, well, Your Lavender, my favorite bar. Um, my favorite bar on Your Lavender. I think I think it's the last bar of the second verse because the whole second verse, if you listen to it, is me breaking down the thought process and the techniques that people will use to even write a song that I don't think any of the people that are critiquing it even take into account. Um, it's a lot that goes into trying to be, even especially if you're trying to be lyrical. It's a lot that goes into that. So the last bar is basically rappers go through all of that, and I still laugh because after all of that, somebody still clicks and calls it trash. Like there are people that put a lot of time and effort into these songs, and people online are just be like, "Yeah, that's trash." I get it if it's not for you, but like shitting on somebody's entire creative process is kind of hilarious. It's super hilarious, especially if you've never even tried it. Do for Self, track number 6. Um, this was a song that I thought about when I was thinking about the things I had been through before and trying to guide my kids in the right direction. That's where the genesis of the song came from. And it's basically addressing those people that didn't quite make it through some of those life experiences, the same ones that I went through, and hoping better for them if they are not in that place in their life that they wish they were at this point. Okay, so as far as a favorite bar, I said, mind racing trying to get to the top. I can't even sleep. I feel like Ace after he got shot, breathe deep. That's a reference to Paid in Full. Um, it was after he got shot that he started appreciating life a whole lot more, and he said, "I breathe deep now." That kind of thing. So I like it. Another song, Both Ends. Both Ends is a story. It's inspired by me growing up and looking back. I think it's very weird, but I also think it's stereotypical. But still, um, Both Ends is about a drug dealer. Um, going through the typical drug dealer stuff that I've seen people go through, and then ultimately ending in the same way that you see on like TV and stuff. But at the same time, the it's told through the eyes. I mean, partially through the eyes of somebody that idolizes him or looks up to him. Just a young person on the block that sees what he has and wishes they had it, or sees the opportunities or the coolness of it and wishes they had it, which I wasn't immune to as a child. And I saw stuff like that. And it also made me think about how many drug dealers I knew growing up. I'm not from like the terrible most hood place in the world. It's got negative aspects, but I didn't realize how many drug dealers I knew growing up. And I also didn't realize how many of them were my age or younger or just a little bit older. And it's just like, when you get to that point, there has to be some kind of, I guess you could say, partnership almost with your parents to even pull that off. Like, parents have to approve you being a drug dealer for you at 14 and 15 with rims on your car. Like, it gets to a point where it's just like you're getting approval from your parents to do this. And in a way, looking back, that kind of blows my mind a little bit. Not to say that I didn't know things like that happen, because obviously I do, because I grew up around it. But looking back, I can only imagine my son or my daughter saying they want to sell drugs or just starting to sell them, and then me being okay with it because of some money they're bringing in the house. It's, I don't know, it delves into that just a little bit in the story too, but that's really what inspired it. I knew a lot of guys that seemed like their parents just went ahead and let them do it, and I just didn't grow up in a household like that. So that's what that song is about. And then the title track, Gold Plated Quarters, which is a light theme that I run throughout the album. This song is about the idea that we are given very minimum, the very minimum. We're given quarters and expected to make them gold. In this country, as black people, as disenfranchised people, just the amount of resources we're given are very minimal, but we always still come back with whatever they gave us, multiplying in value, them taking it, making their own fortunes from it, and then handing us another quarter and telling us to do it again. It doesn't matter what you name. It could be fashion, music. The minimal amount of music programs is what created, or the killing of the music programs is what created hip hop. We are always given less, the scraps from the table, and we made soul food out of it. Now, granted, soul food ain't exactly the beacon of health consciousness, but still, we made that shit delicious. You know, so that's kind of the theme of the song, especially. We're given very little, but we make it into something super valuable, and we never get. Well, I mean, we might get the credit, but the credit doesn't really translate to us capitalizing on it the same way as other people do. So, yep, that's another 4 songs. We'll get to the rest of them for sure. Peace.